So, good morning, students. We have to start from page 45. The man was shocked. This paragraph. So, as we all know, his attempt to build the fire was a disaster. He was not able to light the fire because of his own folly. What was the folly or the mistake which he committed? What mistake did he commit? Ansh.
Ma'am, he burned the fire under a tree.
Yes,
Loaded
that
with
was his mistake. He tried to light fire under the tree and then he went on plucking the branches and the twigs from that tree because they were near him. So what happened, because of the motion, the large pieces of snow which had settled on the branches of the tree, there was agitation in the tree and they fell down and bloated the fire. The fire was extinguished because of that snow which came down, rolling from the tree. The man was shocked. For some time, man didn't even understand what happened, right? When something happens which you didn't expect or which you don't expect, all of a sudden you take time to understand, right? That what actually happened. So the same thing, the same problem was with the man. He was shocked. It was as though he had heard his own sentence of death. Now he started feeling scared. This was the first time that he realized that he is on the verge of death. For a moment, he sat and stared at the spot where the fire had. For a moment, he just kept on sitting there and looking at the place where the fire was burning a while ago. Then he grew very calm. Perhaps the old timer. You remember earlier he was making fun of the old timer, right? Earlier he made fun of the old timer and he was too proud of himself that he was of the opinion that the old timer was like womanly. He was behaving in a very coward manner by telling him to take a companion while traveling at these temperatures. But now he thought that the old timer, that the advice given by the old timer or the experienced person he met at the Sulphur Creek was right. He should have followed his advice and taken a companion along with him. If he had only had a trail mate, means a companion to travel with, he would have been in no danger. This was the first time that he thought that the old timer, the suggestion given by the old timer was perhaps the correct one. The trail mate could have built the fire. Well, it was up to him to build the fire over again. And now he thought that if he had a companion with him, the other person might have built the fire. But now the entire responsibility, the entire task of building the fire was on him. And he has to do it. He cannot ignore it. No matter how uncomfortable, how much in pain he was at this moment, but he has to build that fire. That was like something which was very important for his life at this moment. So build the fire over again. And the second time there must be no failure. And he also understood that the second time he should not fail. He cannot afford to fail. Even if he succeeded, he would most likely lose some toes because his feet were wet and a long time, a considerable time had passed with those wet feet. So he understood that even if he is successful in building the fire, he'll be able to save his life, but he will definitely lose some of his toes, right? Some of his toes will be gone. They will have to be chopped off or amputated from his body. His feet must be badly frozen by now. And there would be some time before the second fire was ready. So he understood about this loss which he will have to incur. Such were his thoughts, but he did not sit and think them. So these were his thoughts. He was thinking about these things were continuously going on in his mind. that no matter how fast he tries to make a fire, but somehow he will have to lose a few of his toes because they are badly frozen and they cannot be revived. So these thoughts were going in his mind, but he didn't just sit there and started thinking and panicking about all these things. He was, though the thoughts were going on at the back of his mind, but he was going on with his work. He was busy all the time. They were passing through his mind. So he was busy working. He was busy making efforts to light the fire, though his mind was occupied with these thoughts. He made a new foundation for the fire, this time in the open. So he again made a foundation for the fire. A foundation was very important because we cannot burn the fire over the snow directly. Otherwise, the snow will melt and the fire will go off. Right? So he tried to build a fire again, and this time not under a tree, but in the open space, where no treacherous tree could float it out. Right? So he made the second attempt to build the fire in the open, where no tree can extinguish it. Next, he gathered dry grass and tiny twigs from the high water flotsam. Then the next thing he did was, flotsam means that debris which floats over the surface of the river or the sea, right? You must have not see actually the surface of the river. You must have seen all the dirt, the twigs, the dried leaves and all these things, right? They float over the surface of the water. So that flotsam, we tried to gather grasses and twigs from the high water flotsam. These floating debris which has been deposited by the river. He collected the twigs from there. He could not bring his fingers together to pull them out. So he wanted to lift it, but his fingers, they refused to move because the wires, that is the nerves, were stiff now. Fingers were almost frozen. So he couldn't move his fingers, bring them closer to pick up those twigs. Right? He was unable to do it. Pull them out, but he was able to gather them by the handful. So he just used his hands. His fingers were not moving. So he just used his hand to pick up those twigs and gather them for the fire. In this way, he got many rotten twigs and bits of green moss that were undesirable. So because he was not able to use his finger, see, when you pick something with your fingers, you are able to choose. But if you try to pick something with your hand, what will happen? A lot of undesirable thing will also come, right? Which you don't actually require. So because he was lifting the twigs, with his hand, what happened? Along with the twigs and the dried branches and sticks, what all he was able to pick up, he also picked up the green moss. That was undesirable, means that was not required to build a fire. He was not able to separate. He was not able to pick and choose. But it was the best he could do. But this was the only thing which he could do. Right? That green moss is not very healthy for the fire. Right? That will actually only damage the fire. Because that will have moisture in it. So that will damage the fire. He only wanted those dry sticks and twigs. But because he was using his hand, he was not able to separate it. And the green moss also came along with those twigs, rotten twigs. But it was the best he could do. He worked methodically, even collecting an armful of the larger branches to be used later when the fire gathered strength. He even collected the larger branches because once the fire starts burning, once the fire becomes stronger, he will need to put in larger branches into it. Right? So once the fire gathered strength, he will put larger branches. So he was working very methodically, right? So that he doesn't have to waste time later in gathering the twigs. So he collected everything beforehand, the larger pieces to be used later on and the smaller twigs for the initial stages of building the fire. And all the while, the dog sat and watched him, a certain yearning wistfulness in his eyes. So there was a certain yearning. Yearning means a small, very strong desire, a longing in his eyes. Wistfulness. Wistfulness is like something which makes you feel sad because we have lost something. You possessed something earlier and now you have a very strong desire to have it back again, right? And you don't have it, so you feel sad. So that is wistfulness. Something which had made you happy in the past and you want to have that thing again, but you don't have it in the present moment. So the thoughts of past make you feel sad. The dog had fire earlier. The dog was sitting next to the fire earlier when the man was having his lunch, right? He was successful in his attempt to make a fire at that time. So, and the dog wanted to keep on sitting there. He didn't want to travel with the man, but he had to, or rather he was forced by the man to do so. So that yearning, that longingness, that strong desire was there in the eyes of this dog. For it looked upon him as the fire provider, because the dog has always known man to be the fire provider, somebody who provides fire. And the fire was a slow in coming, and the fire was not being built up. The man was taking a lot of time to build the fire. So there was some kind of wistfulness, some kind of sadness because of that strong desire to be near the fire, right? Because the man was taking too long to build the fire and the dog has always known man to be the fire provider. So that is why there was that sadness in the eyes of the dog. When all was ready, the man reached in his pocket for the second piece of birch-bark. So again, when everything was set, when he had collected enough twigs and larger branches for the fire, he put his hand into his pocket for the birch bark. He knew the bark was there, and though he could not feel it with his fingers, he could hear its crisp rustling as he fumbled for it. Fumble means when you are trying to search something, right, by touching. That is fumbling, by moving your hands and fingers when you try to search something, that is fumbling. So what he was doing, he put his hand into his pocket, right, to take out the birch bark, but because his fingers were numb, there was no sensation in his fingers, right? So he was not able to feel the birch bark. When any part of your body goes numb, you don't feel any kind of sensation in that particular part of the body. So this was the case with the man. His fingers were numb, so there was no sensation in his fingers. So he was not able to feel that birch bark, right? He could only sense that there is, but he was very sure that the birch bark is there inside his pocket. Why? Because of the rustling sound. So his fingers were numb, but his sense of hear and sight was okay. So because of the rustling sound is produced when that light sound, when two things, they rub against each other. So the sound which is produced, that is rustling. So because the birch barks were rubbing inside his pocket, right, they were making rustling sound. So he was sure that the birch bark is there. Try as he would, he could not clutch hold of it. So because his fingers were numb, he was not able to clutch, right, make his grip over the birch bark. And all the time in his consciousness was the knowledge that each instant his feet were feeling. And all this while, when he was making an attempt, when he was trying very hard to light the fire anyhow, there was this continuous thought going on in his mind that he has to build the fire as soon as possible, right? Because the longer the delay, the dangerous it would be for his feet, because his feet were wet and each moment they are freezing, right? So this thought was continuously being played in his mind. Any problem till here? This thought tended to put him in a panic. So this thought, which was continuously there in his mind, it made him feel panic. right? That each moment, what was the thought? That each moment his feet are freezing. But he fought against it and kept calm. But somehow he was trying to fight against this thought because this was bringing in negativity inside him, right? He will panic more and more. What happens when you are scared? When you panic? What is the result of it? You are not able to work properly, right? You are not able to concentrate on anything with a panicky mind. So this was the case with the man, and so he tried to keep away these thoughts, right? He tried to be positive, optimistic as much as possible because these negative thoughts were continuously haunting his mind, right? Coming again and again in his mind. So they made him feel panic. But he somehow tried to maintain his calm. He pulled on his mittens with his teeth and threshed his arms back and forth. So then he again put on his gloves with his teeth because his fingers were numb. They were not, there was no mobility in his fingers. So he used his teeth to pull on his gloves, that is the mittens. And then threshed his arms back and forth, beating his hand with all his might against his side. And then he started hitting his arms on his side, that is the side portion of his leg. He did this sitting down and he stood up to do it. So first he did this sitting down and then he stood up to do it further. And all the while the dog sat in the stool. Its wolf brush of a tail curled around warmly over its forefeet. So that, see, brush wolf is a type of a wolf, but wolf brush means the brush, the tail, right, which has a lot of hair. So the tail was curled around warmly over its forefeet. So to cover his forefeet, he has used his tail. So he was sitting there looking at the man. Its sharp wolf ears pricked forward intently as it watched the man. So he was looking at the man with a lot of intent, means very attentively he was looking at the man. And the man, as he beat and threshed with his arms and hands, felt a great surge of envy as he regarded the creature that was warm, secure in its natural form. So, and the man, when he caught sight of the dog, when the moment the man looked at the dog, right, what he felt, there was a surge of envy. He started feeling jealous of the dog. Why? Because the dog was a creature of the nature, right? He obeyed nature, and the nature has given him this natural fur, this natural covering to protect his body against the cold. Because the dog, that husky, was meant to be in that environment. So the nature has done enough to protect him from this cold weather. But the man was not designed by nature to be in these temperatures. The man had his brain. He should have used his brain and stayed at home to protect himself. But the man, being overconfident, he stepped out of the house, went against nature, right? So he was facing all these things. So the coating which the dog had, because the dog was sitting very comfortably, the dog's instincts told him how to protect himself from these temperatures, right? So the dog was not in danger, but the man was in danger. The life of the man was in danger, and this made the man feel jealous. After a time, he was aware of the first faraway signals of the sensation in his beating finger. So after hitting his fingers, after threshing his fingers for some time against his sides, he was able to feel some kind of sensation coming back. There was revival of sensation in his beaten finger. He started feeling a slight sensation of pain in his finger. A faint tingling grew stronger till it evolved into the stinging ache that was excruciating. Excruciating means very painful, right? Slowly, at first he sensed slight pain, and then that tingling sensation, that stinging sensation, it grew, and then it became it was transformed into an excruciating pain. Means there was severe pain which he felt in his finger. Feeling of pain means that the sensation is there, right? If any part of your body goes numb, you will not feel any sensation. Not even pain will be felt because the blood flow is not there in that part of the body. So the feeling of pain meant that the sensation is there in his finger. He stripped the mittens from his right hand and fetched forth the birch bark. So then he again removed the mittens because he had to wear the mittens, and wearing those mittens he was hitting his finger hard. So what he did, he removed the mittens from his fingers and took out the birch bark, which he was not able to do earlier, right? Because his fingers were stiff. Now the sensation was revived, so his fingers were able to move now, and so he was able to pull out the birch bark from his pocket. The exposed fingers were quickly going numb again. The moment he removed the mittens from his fingers to fetch the birch bark, the fingers again started becoming numb. Next, he brought out his bunch of sulphur matches. So the next thing, first he took out the birch bark from his pocket, then he brought out the sulphur matches. But the tremendous cold had already driven the life out of his finger. But it was so cold that the fingers again became lifeless. In his effort to separate one match from the other, the whole bunch fell in the snow. So he had to do everything very quickly. So in his attempt to quickly separate one matchstick from the other, everything fell in the snow. He tried to pick it out of the snow, but failed. The dead fingers could neither touch nor clutch. So the fingers were dead again, without sensation again. So he was not even able to touch. He didn't feel anything, or neither clutch. Clutch means to form a grip. He was very careful. He drove the thought of his freezing feet and nose and cheeks out of his mind, devoting his whole soul to the matches, right? So now he again tried to calm his mind, right? And tried to concentrate on picking up the matches than thinking about his feet, his freezing feet. He watched using the sense of vision in place of that of touch. So now, because sense of touch was lost, his fingers were numb. So he tried to use the other senses, that is the sense of vision and sight, to pick up those matches which were lying there in the snow, than the sense of touch. With touch, he cannot feel anything because the fingers are numb. So he tried to use his eyes to see where the matches are lying and then pick them with his hands. And when he saw his fingers on each side, the bunch, and when he saw his fingers on each side, the bunch, he closed them. So he just, how he tried to pick up fingers on each side, and then he tried hard to close his fingers, right? When he, using his eyes, he tried to place his fingers on each side of the bunch, right? And then he tried to close them so that he is able to form a grip. For the wires were down and the fingers did not open. So the wires were down was because the nerves were stiff again, his hands were frozen, and so he was not even able to move his fingers like this to lift those matches. And so the fingers, they refused to open. He pulled the mittens on the right hand and beat it fiercely against his knee. Then he again wore the mittens, that is the gloves, and started hitting his fingers, his hand against his knees. Then with both mittened hands, he scooped the bunch of matches along with much. So then he didn't remove the mitten. What he tried to do with those hands covered with gloves, he tried to lift the matches with his mittened hand and like this. And when he tried to lift the matches like this, what happened? Along with the matchsticks, a lot of the snow was also lifted by this mat. He scooped the bunch of matches along with much snow into his lap. Yet he was no better. So, yet he was defeated in his attempt. He was not able to do anything because there was a lot of snow. The matches will not burn because there is snow in it. So, he has to get rid of the snow.